Is an MBA from Michigan. Woo! That's impressive. And a Bachelor of Science from the U.S. Naval Academy, which we all know is in Annapolis. He brings his unfiltered, honest, and worldview. He's nothing if not authentic. Join me in welcoming our keynote, Jake Slade.
Woo! Let's go! Judy, Mark, Jeremiah, everybody, thank you very much, man. What an honor to be able to talk California Toastmasters. You know, I told it this morning, I'm going to say it again. If you weren't on that call, you know, I got this call to do this 2 years ago in 18 and was jacked about it. So let's get started. Let's not waste no time. Unmute your mics because I'm firing questions to start because this is kind of a working group. Everybody needs to get better. So I can't see anybody's name on this. So I'm going to the chat. Is Ron Swaby on here?
Yeah.
Ron, what is the attention span of a 12 to 25-year-old right now? What's their attention span?
Probably 30 seconds.
0.5 seconds.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yep. Okay. If you don't use their phones, how? Let me go over here to chat. Let me find somebody else. I only got Richard Nolenberger. Kohlenberger.
Yes, Kohlenberger.
Sorry about that, Mr. Kohlenberger. Okay, Richard. If you don't use their phones, how much information do they retain if you're trying to teach them?
Not much.
10%.
10%. Who just gave me 2 hands and 10%? What's your name?
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Holy smoke. Charlotte hit it right on the head. So anywhere from 7 to 10% is what they're going to retain if you don't give it to them on their phones. So there's a huge quantum shift going on right now in teaching. Classrooms really haven't changed since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. Classrooms were made to teach people to be able to read, write, and follow directions in a factory. And so now we're in 2020 and we're trying to reach, 12 to 25-year-olds. You guys are trying to grow your clubs and figure out how do you educate those people. The biggest problem you have is they have unlimited access to information on their phone. And so they don't take kindly to people telling them how to do stuff because they've grown up believing that they can just Google the answer. Now, we're all a little bit wiser and we understand that Google only gives you about a 15% answer. I'm sorry, a 50% answer, right? There's a lot of stuff that Google doesn't really tell you how to get it done. But in their opinion, if it's on Google, it's 100% the answer. So it makes it hard to teach them. And so I'm going to tell you a quick story about how I kind of came about the way we do it and how effective it is. So in 2015, I got a Division II job in Findlay, Ohio, go work with a couple of my buddies. And there was a guy there named Thomas Rebholz. And Tom had this system that literally he would take a picture of a board and then he would send a question based on that picture to his guys in a group chat. We use GroupMe as the app that we use to kind of facilitate a position meeting or a defense or offense or special teams. And so I watched him do this for a year, and I thought his group, the linebackers, just overperformed all the time. Like they were above the line as far as performance goes. So I talked to him a little bit, and I asked him a little bit, and then we went back and forth, and he was like, man, you should do this. And I was kind of like, I was still standing in front of my position group talking for 45 minutes to an hour of the hour-and-a-half position meeting. And then I said, you know what? I said, man. So I just wasn't getting through. We had 5 MAs a game. So I got the defensive line. I got all the smart guys, okay? And so 5 mental mistakes a game. So I go home. My wife is an at-home mom. She works, well, not at-home mom. She works from home, but we had just had our 3rd kid, and he had a fever. She had a call, so I had to go home. So I was sitting at home with the baby in one hand, and I'm researching, like, current teaching methods, flipping the classroom, I'm researching micro learning because they don't learn in big blocks. They can't sit down for 10 minutes and learn anything. They're like literally their attention span is like seconds. So you got to teach them in seconds. So I came back. I was there all afternoon. I came back. I went to practice. And then I sat down with Tom that night. And this is game 7 of the season. And I said to Tom, I said, okay, I got to make a switch because whatever I'm doing right now as a football coach is not getting the information into the players' heads so that they can functionally use it on Saturdays. So I sat down, boom, I came up with this plan. I said, okay, no longer am I talking in the meetings. All right. I explained it to my guys. I said, listen, in the morning, that next morning, I made the change. I talked to my head coach. He said, go ahead. If you feel that it's going to help us win, I'm all for it. Boom. I set the wheels in motion. I sent a group text and group me out to my position groups. I said, listen, when you come here for 2:30 meetings, you need to have a plan on how you're going to learn all of the material that we need to learn. And I gave them a list of the things that we need to learn for that game. It was like a Tuesday. So we had 4 days to prepare for the Saturday's game. So they came in and they all had a plan. So the defensive ends went in one room. The defensive tackles stayed at the table. And all the freshmen went. We had a senior kid who had an ACL injury. They all went next door and worked on technique because they weren't playing on Saturday. So they didn't need to learn anything really. They just needed to get better at becoming defensive linemen. So the first day I was kind of like, I just kind of walked around, right? I didn't have a lot of interaction. I answered maybe 2 questions and I kept moving. So we go out to practice and I got done and I'm like, okay, the wheels on the bus didn't fall off, right? I didn't have a meeting. I didn't talk. And we're at practice and things are going good. So the next day, the first thing in the morning, they asked me, hey, are we doing the meeting today the same way? I said, absolutely. So they got fired up in the group chat. Hey, you guys have this ready. You have this ready. They took ownership in the room. So they came in, did the same thing. So wash and repeat 3 days in a row, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, we traveled up to northern Michigan, a 10-hour bus ride. I mean, way up in the Upper Peninsula in Copper Country. So we got off the bus. We played the game. We had 1 MA. So in 4 days from changing the process to how they learned, I went from 5 MAs a game to 1. So the other thing that we did is I started using the board. Some things to know with this younger generation. If you produce it, i.e. use PowerPoint, you make it really pretty, they don't like it. So if you handwrite everything on a whiteboard, they'll look at it. If you send them a video, a little short video, they'll watch it. Okay? So it's a monumental shift for us old folks, right? Like I tell people, like, I'm getting ready to hit 50. And it's tough for me. It takes more effort on my part to have to send out 15 messages a day. However, the last 2 games of the season, we had 0 MAs out of the defensive line. So literally, I make this quantum shift in learning, really teaching them to where they are. And I get 1 MA in the last 3 games, and I had 5 MAs every game before that. And I haven't changed since then. I very seldomly, unless I'm ripping butt, do I talk to a group of people that I'm truly trying to teach stuff to. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So, we've been banging on this 11 minutes. That literally is the crux of it all.